Beneath every moment of your life, there's a silent architecture, an intricate design so precise it almost feels impossible to perceive. Yet every now and then, for just a fleeting instant, the veil lifts. You think of someone only seconds before they call. You notice repeating numbers on a clock again and again. A book falls open to the exact sentence you needed to read. And in those moments, something inside you stirs, an ancient memory, a deep knowing that none of this is random. We've been taught to label these moments as coincidences, meaningless accidents in an indifferent universe. But what if that belief is one of the most limiting ideas you've ever accepted? What if nothing that shows up in your life is random, and everything is responding to the person you are becoming? That's the first crack in the illusion. Because once you question the myth of coincidence, you start to see the invisible threads connecting everything. You begin to realize that life is constantly speaking to you in a language beyond words, a language of symbols, patterns, timing, and alignment. Synchronicity isn't an accident. It's proof that the field you live in is intelligent and responsive. Think about the times you've been lost in confusion or doubt, and then something appeared that felt like a phrase overheard, a song playing at the perfect moment, an unexpected opportunity. And notice how your body knew, before your mind could explain it, that it meant something. That's the resonance of synchronicity, a vibrational confirmation that you are not separate from the intelligence of creation. Here's what most people miss. The field doesn't send you signs to prove something. It's not performing miracles to entertain you. Synchronicity isn't here to convince you that magic exists. It's here to remind you that you're already part of the magic. And the more closely you look, the more you notice. These moments appear only when you loosen your grip on your control, when you stop trying to force reality into a specific shape, when you let go of needing to know exactly how and when things will unfold. In that space of openness, the field finally has room to show you that you are being guided. This is the paradox. The harder you hunt for signs, the quieter they become. The more you try to manufacture them, the more invisible they grow. Because synchronicity isn't born from effort, it emerges from alignment. It thrives when your mind softens and your heart opens, when you trust that there's an intelligence far greater than your plans, and that intelligence is not separate from you. It is you, in a deeper, more expanded form. If life has ever felt stuck, repetitive, or heavy, consider this. You might have been so busy searching for the next thing that you stopped noticing what's already unfolding around you. Synchronicity doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It appears in the quiet precision of timing so perfect it could never be rehearsed. You're not here to chase miracles. You're here to remember that the field is alive, listening, and reflecting your own state back to you. Every alignment you've experienced wasn't luck. It was the echo of your vibration meeting the universe halfway. So today, consider a new possibility in your house. Life has ever been random. The moments you thought were accidents were invitations. The delays were adjustments. The coincidences were confirmations. And the fact that you're hearing these words right now may be the greatest sign of all, that you're ready to see life for what it truly is. A conversation with a field that never stops responding to you. If synchronicity feels like something beyond probability, too precise to be random, it's because it is. To understand why, You have to look beyond the visible world and into the unseen architecture of reality itself. Behind everything you can touch, taste or measure, there is a quantum field, a vast, intelligent matrix of energy and information. And this field is not passive. It responds to consciousness. Your consciousness. Modern physics has wrestled for decades with the strange behavior of the subatomic world. When scientists observe particles, they find those particles have no fixed position until they are measured. Until then, they exist as waves of possibility, a cloud of probabilities waiting to collapse into a specific state. This is called the observer effect. And it means reality isn't just happening to you, it's interacting with you, observing you, sensing you, and responding to the vibration you emit. And this has everything to do with synchronicity. Imagine the quantum field as a living ocean of infinite possibilities. Every thought you think, every feeling you hold, every belief you carry acts like a frequency, a signal rippling through that ocean. As those ripples spread outward, they begin to organize particles, events, and opportunities into patterns that reflect your vibration. Your vibration isn't just a concept. It's the way your consciousness shapes the field around you. This isn't abstract philosophy. It's how non-local consciousness interacts with reality itself. You're never only an observer. You're a catalyst, sparking coherence in the space around you. That's why when you're in an elevated state, gratitude, trust, inspiration, it feels like the world bends in your favor. The right person calls. The perfect solution appears. A door you thought was closed quietly opens. In those moments, you've stepped out of survival mode and into resonance, and the field always meets resonance with alignment. Physicists like David Bohm describe this as the holo movement, an unbroken wholeness in which everything is connected beyond space and time. Synchronicity is the felt echo of that interconnectedness, as if the universe folds in on itself to bring you an answer to a question you didn't even know you were asking. Here's what most people don't realize. Synchronicity isn't a sign that the universe just started paying attention to you. The universe has never stopped paying attention. What changes is your coherence. When your mind, heart, and body come into alignment, your signal becomes clear, and the field reflects that clarity in the form of perfect timing and meaningful events. Think of your consciousness as both a transmitter and a receiver. When you're stressed, anxious, and clinging to outcomes, your signal is full of static, and the field mirrors that noise. But when you quiet your mind and expand into trust, you tune into a frequency where synchronicities occur with graceful consistency. It's not a reward for hard work. It's the natural byproduct of alignment. This is why you can push and struggle for years with little result, then watch everything fall into place the moment you let go. Surrender isn't weakness, it's coherence. And coherence is the language the field understands. It's easy to look back and label synchronicities as coincidence. It's far more powerful to accept that you played a role in calling them in, that your openness acted like magnetic poles, shaping reality around you. The field doesn't need you to believe in it to respond. But the more you notice its responsiveness, the more you relax into trust. And in that trust, you make space for more guidance, more alignment, more meaning. You're not living in a string of disconnected moments. You're inside a living tapestry, woven in real time in response to your vibration. Every time you choose presence over fear, curiosity over judgment, faith over control, the pattern becomes more beautiful. So the next time something unlikely unfolds, pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what is this moment here to teach me about who I'm becoming? Synchronicity is never random. It's the quantum field whispering, you're not alone. You never have been. If reality isn't fixed but responsive, then every experience you have is a mirror, reflecting the deeper pattern you're broadcasting. Most people never stop to notice what they're transmitting. They rush through their days, thinking, wishing, worrying, unaware that every thought, every emotion sends a signal into the field. Those signals don't vanish, they leave an imprint. They shape the unseen scaffolding of tomorrow. You may have been taught that your circumstances are random or dictated by forces beyond your control. But what if it's the opposite? What if everything you call your life is simply the echo of your own frequency, mirroring back what you believe, expect, and feel most often? Synchronicity isn't a random gift, it's the field's natural response to coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and energy line up, the field has no choice but to reflect that order back to you. The pattern you emit becomes the pattern you experience. It's like standing in an endless hall of mirrors. Everywhere you turn, you see yourself, sometimes distorted, sometimes still clear. Your reality works the same way. What you fear, you tend to encounter. What you resent, you keep alive. What you cherish, you multiply. Attention is energy, and energy shapes form. This is why certain themes keep showing up: relationships that feel oddly familiar, challenges that repeat, situations that seem stuck on loop. The field isn't punishing you, it's showing you the frequencies you're still broadcasting, the patterns you haven't yet reclaimed or transformed. Every recurring experience is not a curse, it's an invitation to wake up. This is the hidden power of synchronicity. When you shift your emotional baseline, the field responds immediately. If you've spent most of your life resonating with fear, scarcity, or self-doubt, the moment you hold gratitude or trust for even a few breaths, you create a new signal. And that signal doesn't just feel different, it starts arranging reality differently. Conversations, solutions, repeating signs, each carries the same message. You're changing. Keep going. Many people get stuck thinking thoughts alone can create new outcomes. But thoughts without emotion are like seeds tossed onto concrete, potential without the conditions to grow. Feeling is the water, emotion is the fertile soil. You can repeat affirmations all day, but if your vibration is still steeped in doubt, the field will reflect the doubt, not the words. The field responds to what you are, not what you say. Trusting the signs means becoming the version of yourself who no longer needs proof, the one who feels coherence before it appears as evidence, who understands reality shifts when you shift, not the other way around. Every time you replay an old story of why things don't work out, you strengthen that frequency. Every time you surrender into trust, you will broadcast new message, I'm ready for a different outcome. The field listens. The more consistent your signal, the faster life aligns. This isn't about perfection, it's about awareness. When you catch yourself slipping back into fear, judgment, or urgency, pause. Breathe. Choose again. That one choice, repeated often enough, becomes a new pattern. And in those subtle, quiet moments of realignment, the most profound synchronicities are born. When you radiate Tronmatondorsuas, the field sends confirmation. When you live in gratitude, the field amplifies your blessings. When you embody wholeness, life stops sending lessons in fragmentation. Ask yourself, what pattern have I been broadcasting without realizing it? What would happen if I changed? And now everything you want to experience is already encoded in the field. The signs are already moving toward you, and the moment you shift your vibration, the pattern reorganizes around who you're becoming. If you've ever felt like life was trying to speak to you but you couldn't hear it, you're not alone. Most people are so caught in mental noise, emotional turbulence, and constant distraction that they miss the field's subtle language. Synchronicity doesn't demand you be special. It asks only that you be present enough to notice what's always been there. The field is like a river of infinite possibilities. When you're tense and distracted, it looks still. But when you soften, breathe, and drop into presence, you see the currents. Patterns emerge. The motion becomes undeniable. To start tuning in, down not just your schedule, but your inner pace. The field doesn't speak urgency, it speaks resonance. When you unclench your mind and settle into your body, you create space for synchronicity to slip through the cracks of your old stories. One simple practice is to notice repetition. Patterns are the quantum field's language. When you see the same number sequence, hear the same phrase from different people, or notice a symbol appearing in unlikely places, pause. Ask yourself, what part of me is being reflected here? You don't need an instant answer. The question itself opens the door. Another practice is cultivating emotional coherence. When your heart and mind align, your signal becomes unmistakable. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that gratitude, care, and appreciation create measurable coherence in the heart's electromagnetic field. In this state, you become more receptive to intuitive nudges and synchronistic events. You can even ask the field for guidance. Before sleep, set an intention. Show me what I need to see. When you wake, notice the first thoughts, feelings, or images that arise. Synchronicity often enters through liminal states, those moments when your conscious mind loosens its grip. Journaling also sharpens your awareness. Write down every coincidence you notice. Over time, you'll see a dialogue emerging between your inner world and the field. The more you track, the clearer the language becomes. And perhaps most importantly, release the need to interpret or prove everything right away. The mind loves to label signs as good or bad, relevant or irrelevant. But the field moves in subtler shades. Trust the resonance you feel, an inner stirring, a sense of familiarity, a quiet thrill. Your body often recognizes alignment before your mind can explain it. The deepest synchronicity happens when you trust, without proof. The moment you demand constant evidence, you tighten your frequency and slow the flow. But when you allow the unknown, when you give the field space to reveal itself in its own timing, you step into surrender, and surrender draws alignment to you. That's why the most meaningful signs often show up when you're not searching, while walking, resting, or simply being. Synchronicity thrives in the spaces you leave open. So today, breathe, observe, allow. Imagine the field always listening, always responding, always arranging, because it is. Every intention, every question, Every frequency you emote, hold as an invitation. And the signs are the field's way of whispering back, I hear you. I am with you. Keep going. Take a moment and write in the comments. I trust these signs. This isn't just a nice affirmation. It's a signal, a vibrational signature that says you're no longer chasing meaning, but allowing it to find you. Most of us were taught that control equals safety, that if we can plan enough, predict enough, analyze enough, we'll finally feel secure. But here's the paradox. No one warns you about the tighter you cling to control, the more life resists you. The more you demand certainty, the less space you leave for synchronicity to flow. Control is often just fear in disguise. It tells the field, I don't trust what you have for. And the field, always reflecting, sends back more experiences to confirm that doubt. Letting go is not giving up. It's the art of allowing. It's trusting that there's an intelligence beyond the limits of your mind, one that already knows where you're going, why you're here, and who you're becoming. Imagine standing in a river, clinging to a rock because you're afraid to be swept away. You feel safe because you're still, but you're also stuck, straining, and exhausted. All the while, the current, the very force that could carry you to the next chapter, is just waiting for you to release your grip. Synchronicity works the same way. It can only carry you when you stop resisting. Most people think they're manifesting, but they're actually negotiating, giving the universe deadlines, conditions, and terms. This isn't trust, it's a transaction. And the field doesn't respond to transactions. It responds to coherence. It responds to surrender. Surrender isn't passive, it's active alignment. It's holding a clear intention while letting go of how and when it arrives. You're not abandoning your desires. You're saying to the field, I trust you to bring me what serves my highest good in whatever form it takes. That vibration alone starts rearranging reality. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is moving from seeking to allowing. Seeking says, I don't have it yet. Allowing says, I'm ready to receive. That shift changes everything. When you stop searching for signs as proof, you start seeing them as companions. When you stop measuring progress against rigid expectations, you start feeling the quiet perfection of where you are. To practice letting go, notice the moments your body contracts, urgency in your chest, tension in your jaw, the swirl of overthinking. Pause. Breathe. Place your hand over your heart and remind yourself I am safe to release. Even softening your language can shift your vibration. Replace I need this to happen with I'm open to the perfect unfolding. Think back. Your greatest alignments likely weren't micromanaged. They were the moments you allowed yourself to be guided. Synchronicity thrives in the spaces you leave unscripted. Letting go isn't something you master once. It's a practice. You'll catch yourself slipping into control again, and that's okay. The work is simply to notice, breathe, and choose trust again. Over time, trust becomes your default frequency and synchronicity becomes effortless. Remember, you were never meant to figure it all out alone. The universe has been working on your behalf since the moment you arrived here. And when you surrender, you finally allow it to show you what was waiting all along. Trust isn't a random feeling. It's a state of being you choose over and over, even when there's no evidence yet. And when you live from that frequency, life stops feeling like a series of problems to solve and starts feeling like a conversation, a dialogue between your heart and the intelligence that holds it all together. The signs aren't here to prove anything. They're gentle reminders that you are seen. Trust doesn't shout. It waits patiently beneath the noise, inviting you to return. Every time you soften urgency, every time you choose faith over fear, the field reorganizes in ways your torpid mind could never engineer. Everything you desire is already circling you, looking for a place to land. Not because you forced it, but because you became open to receive it. Synchronicity doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to coherence. To the energy of a heart that trusts what it can't yet see. You may never trace each alignment to a cause, but you don't need to. The mystery is part of the beauty. The more you relax into it, the more you realize life is on your side. Trust isn't ignoring reality, it's meeting reality without armor. It's knowing that every delay, detour, and unexpected moment has its place in the larger design. And when you live this way, you no longer wait for signs to believe. You receive signs because you already believe. So take a deep breath. Soften your gaze. Remember, you're not here to force life into a shape. You're here to meet life as it is, trusting that even the moments that make no sense are guiding you somewhere beautiful. And if this message has resonated, subscribe not just for more words, but for reminders. Reminders that you're not alone. That the field is always listening. That the greatest synchronicity isn't perfect timing. It's the moment you realize you were exactly where you needed to be all along, trusting what you could not yet see.